All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February Sun Valley Nominations and Elections Committee meeting. Appreciate everyone being here. Uh, we have Don is with us and Joe Jean's with us. I'm here. We are missing Gail and Michael, but hopefully they'll join. Here's Michael. Hi, Michael.
Oh, hello.
And we're just getting started, Michael. So thank you for being here. And hopefully Gail will join us. Um, I would like to approve the agenda that we have tonight. Is there any changes or any additions to the agenda that anybody would like to have?
Not here.
Okay, hearing none. I move that we approve the agenda. All in favor?
Oh,
All right.
I'll second that.
So approved. And I'd like to approve the minutes from January 27th, 25. Michael, thank you for recording those. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Or I just did, actually. Is there any changes or corrections to the minutes? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Approved.
Okay. Michael, would you please send those on to admin, if you would, please?
I'll correct Don's last name spelling on it.
Okay.
What's wrong with it? Oh,
Missing an A.
oh.
Missing it.
No, not OOAA.
Hey, yeah.
Awesome.
Two
Okay,
N's, two A's.
so we're at member comments. Spencer, do we have any members with us tonight?
It doesn't look like it, not right now.
Okay. Well, then we'll go into our old business, which is the Unilect contract proposal. And you guys, I gotta admit, I sent that to you very late in the game, and I do apologize. I've invited Linda Bradley to join us to help us kind of through our Sun Valley requirements and what Unilect's proposing. I think we have some questions for them, and there is a Michael Bennett, our GM, has set up a meeting with them tomorrow for us to pose their questions, but I wanted us to have a chance to look at it, discuss it. If the committees has any additional questions, then we can add those. But the first file link is pretty much their standard what they have sent to us throughout the year when we had paper ballots. And that's pretty straightforward. The question that I have is, as you guys know, as I told you last month, we were requesting an option to do hybrid voting where people could choose to vote either paper, or if they wanted to, they could vote electronic. So they sent us two options. Option one would be a paper system, and I think it's just a paper system. Option two, which got me scratching my head, is they would send the paper ballots to 50% of the membership, and everybody could, and everybody has the opportunity to vote electronically. Now, I was really scratching my head is, okay, 50%, how do you, decide what's the 50%? That's not gonna work in my mind.
So are you saying their proposals, I haven't had a chance to go over these yet because I lost mine, as you know. The
Yeah,
computer ate it, but, one, if you get a paper ballot, if you opt in for a paper ballot, then that's how you vote? Or you can
Yeah.
vote, I'm confused about
no, that's a good question,
the
Don.
two.
The way it would work is, the way I thought it was gonna work is all of us would get a paper ballot. And yet an invitation to vote electronically, you would have a way to go in electronically. If you voted electronically, they have a system in place in their headquarters where once they get the paper ballot, they wouldn't accept your electronic vote.
Right.
And vice versa, if you voted electronically and they got a paper, it's the which ballot did they receive first, Don?
Right.
So what we told them was we were hoping to go as electronic as we could to save money and postage. And we
Right.
knew that the first year that probably wasn't gonna be the case. And I don't know if they, in hearing, listening to us talking about trying to save money, they came up with this 50% idea. I trust them. There's got to be some reasoning why they did that, and we need to understand, and we need to tell them. I don't. That's not going to work in my mind. If I was a board member voting, I wouldn't accept that. So,
Rob,
yeah,
Rob,
Linda,
when
yeah,
I'm looking at option one, is they include everything. It says full service election management of
Right.
the annual election, design of all balloting materials, print mailing, and online voting services for 3,300 official ballot packets. So I see that online's in there still. I don't understand two at all. And that's to discuss with them tomorrow.
thank you, Linda. I missed that. Thank you.
I was under the impression that we were going to discuss the possibility of electronic voting and allow the homeowners to have a say in do they want that or not, rather than just throwing it out there. By reading both of these in the little time that I had, I understand what they wrote here, but the average homeowner is not going to understand this at all, and it's going to open a can of worms.
So I'm wondering if a way to test, I mean, we don't know how many people would want to do online voting, obviously, because it's never been done. So their proposal sounds like they want to they'll send everybody a ballot and give them the option of online voting.
Yes.
That
Yes,
would be a good way to get an indication of how it's going to be accepted. If everybody rejects the online and just uses the paper, or the majority, I mean, that could tell us something.
yeah,
Option two is out.
absolutely. I agree with you, Michael.
The other question I have is, it says design all the balloting material, printing, mailing, and online voting services. I thought we were using a local printer.
We are.
So is his cost included in the $21,000?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
but the 21,000 doesn't include postage.
No, that's down below in the bid, Michael. If I look, I did, as usual, I'm overcompensating here. I added up the 21,000 for just their services. Then there's 1,984.50 for outgoing for all the ballots. Then there's $921 for the ones that are returned by mail. And that totals $23,905. We have
Okay.
a budget of 24,000.
Yeah, all right. That's what I thought. That's what I remember from the past.
yep. And
I think the only thing that's not in there, Michael, that I don't know the answer to, and I asked Rob, is, it says that, Canadian ballots, postage isn't included. And I think there's just barely around 100 that we have that we send to Canada separate.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
That's right.
option one is basically what we've been doing these last few years.
Yes, except it
Yes.
includes online.
Yeah,
I
and I
think
guess
I
that's
agree
the
with
question is,
Don. I agree with Don. It's a good feeler if, just to see if, people go, oh, I can just click online. I'll just do that. We might even get more votes. Who knows?
Yep.
it might
More
be worth doing,
participation.
trying.
But only sending out half the ballots and everybody in E-Link is going to have the internet burning up.
Yeah, I agree
Right.
with you, Michael. I
I
don't
agree.
understand it. And maybe when they explain it, I'll understand it. I sent to Rob for him to share whenever he can. I did a mock-up of those last couple pages of the voting booklet for the methods of voting and added in there online voting. And you're going to have between, if the board approves this, you're going to have between now and basically when? The end of September to do articles in the Views and talk about this.
Yeah.
And, explain to the membership how it's going to work.
And that it'll
And
save
that's
money.
something that I need to ask of Unilect. I would think, but maybe I'm thinking wrong, that when they set up a portal for online voting for us, it's going to have a specific email address. And then you just simply add online voting and say, to access online voting materials, click this link, then whatever that link is to Unilect, and obtain an online ballot, follow the instructions on the website and complete your ballot.
And
Yeah,
so
it'd be nice to
for
see,
one
it'd be
away.
nice to see a test run, like a kind of what does
A
it look like?
mock-up for us to try.
Yeah, because it's got to go by lot. And some
Yeah.
people own multiple lots, so I'd like to see how you go in and click to make your vote. Or do you just put in your lot number and you vote?
Well, I think
Yeah,
they're
I
going to
don't
have to
know how
provide
they
a
do
demo
it.
of some sort. Oh, sorry, Linda.
No, you.
I was just saying,
I'm writing
Unilect
notes.
should be able to provide a demonstration of some sort on how this all works in real life.
Well,
Don, if you remember when we first got them started,
Yeah.
we thought about it, but then so many people were opposed to it that we didn't have them do the demonstration for us.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that exactly, but
Yeah. So
well,
this is what the methods of voting looks like with online added in there. It's on the very bottom of what Rob is sharing with us. It's item C.
scroll up, Rob.
Did I go
There's
past?
some dates.
Yeah, you
There's
went past
some
it.
dates in there I'm
There you
not
go.
sure of. But those are dates that can be discussed after the contract signed.
Yes. There it is, online voting.
Yeah. I almost was gonna try a link, but it's just, if you look at it, the link is real light and that's where you would put the link in. And I would assume all of us have that. And then it is however we sign on.
So one thing I think would do to help us in our discussion is I think everybody's in agreement that option 2 is just, it shouldn't be considered. You option 1 where everybody could choose to vote either with a paper ballot like we always have, or they could opt into electronic voting, is something to explore. And our committee needs to make a recommendation to the board, but the board, I'm sure, is going to have a lot of questions about this. So keep going, guys. What else? What are more of your thoughts, please?
Well, as secretary, I'm basically writing here that we're discussing the options that Unilect gave us. One was for all paper ballots with an option for electronically voting. It would be nice to request, or I guess Rob's going to request, if can we get a demo of this online vote process? And option 2 is out.
Yeah. I think the demo, you just gave me a good idea, Michael. If there was a way they could give us a little video or something that's we don't want to share their intellectual property, or I mean, but if there was a way, there could be a little demo clip that we could put on our website or something for people to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Linda? If there was some way that might give people a little better, they might feel a little more comfortable about it,
Yep, I hear what you're saying.
because sometimes,
And they may well have something.
I would imagine they
have
do.
thousands of people that they do balloting for.
I mean, this electronic voting, and when I say this, if any members are listening later on YouTube, when I say electronic voting, we're talking hybrid. People would still get a paper ballot, but if you voted electronically, I mean, there are some really, really big organizations that they support, Unilect, that they use electronic voting and their members are confident in it. I mean, these are some big union elections, and a bit rather large HOAs use it too, from what they told us.
I would
If I'm not
imagine
mis-
that
Guys, if I'm
Unilect
not
has
mistaken, Michael, go ahead.
Go ahead, Don.
Oh, I was just going to say, sorry. I would imagine Unilect has already a prepared video presentation of some sort that they can get out to people, potential clients.
Yeah. When,
that-
when, when Michael Bennett, our GM, and I first approached them, Don, I asked them for materials that I could share with our membership that would help them better understand what this process looks like. Go ahead, Linda. You wanted to weigh in, I think.
All I wanted to say is there should be something that we could get from them to help do that. I believe when you were talking about other organizations, I believe Suncadia, I don't know if they use, and that's where our GM, that was where he was former at, they do all online voting. I
Yeah.
don't know that they do a hybrid, but I know for sure he said they did online voting. And I thought he said that the majority of their votes came back online.
Well, I think this would be a good way to test. If
Yeah.
3,300 of us received a paper ballot and 1,500 of us voted electronically, that would be saying a lot to me. And Michael, that's a good point. If we were able to look at the data analytics that we received last year from our previous GM on she gave us a trend of voting, of how many votes were cast. If we start to see an upturn, that's pretty interesting data, there. And also, Michael, you had asked about AMS up in Blaine as the printer. I requested what I requested was I would like for us to have the exact same process, a contract with the exact same paper balloting process, and then we also asked for a hybrid option in there. So we would, once we have sent them the printing materials, any committee says, yep, that ballot looks right, the voting pamphlet looks right, the envelopes look right, we send them over. Once the first print run occurs, we would go back up to Blaine at AMS and proof them and make sure that it's exactly what we wanted. They would still, AMS would still act as a print courier, including the Canadian ballots. Now, I'm speaking just for me. I do not live in Canada, but if I did live in Canada, I would opt into the electronic voting. It's cheaper, it's faster. You guys may recall that our Canadian members, they have to pay for their postage to go back to California with their paper ballot.
Yep.
So,
A sweet deal for them to go electronic.
yep,
And the overseas votes.
same. Yeah, we do have, I think we have like 2 or 3 people that live outside of North America. So, Joe Jean, what do you think? Put you on the spot, Joe Jean.
I think that we should have online voting and paper ballot. Everyone should get a paper ballot in the mail.
Yep.
Also, be able to either use the paper ballot or do online. And I'm sure that they can, you couldn't vote the paper ballot and online, and they will catch you. So you don't have to worry about people voting twice.
Yeah.
And you have to have online, you can't have just online balloting or voting it, because there are too many people in Sun Valley that aren't computer literate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
Well,
what I vote for.
It just
Okay.
seems to me on the face of it here, without delving into details, just the option one with the hybrid option, it's not costing us anything more to do it that way.
Yeah.
Assuming these costs are what's been trending, these are pretty comparable to 5 years ago, aren't they, Linda?
yes,
Yeah, pretty much. The only
So-
thing that increases is usually in this top thing of the printing and stuff is
Mhm.
generally their airfare and lodging and stuff always
Oh, right.
increases year after year.
Yeah,
yeah, that's reasonable.
And like I say, we are within that 24,000 limit.
so there's not really a cost issue to at least try out the hybrid system and see how it goes.
Well, and trying to be good stewards of our membership's funds, we should try to drive costs down.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to, as Michael pointed out earlier, we have to have our members confidence in the system. I mean, I got
Yeah.
involved because I want to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to vote, no matter how, I mean, as a committee, you guys know, we're not impartial, but everybody had an opportunity to vote, their votes were counted, and it was a good, fair election. So,
I don't know if any of you have looked, but we are allowed to send out electronic only documents to members. There is a process for that, and that is that they sign a form and an agreement that is kept in their file that they agree to have their documents sent to them electronically. Here's the problem with that little animal. So let's say I get Michael's email address and he says, I just want you to send my whole voting packet to me electronically. And we do. And for some reason in that year, he has changed his email address. Just like
Right.
Joe Jean just talked to Rob and said, I've changed my email address.
Yeah.
Well, what if whoever has taken her first agreement, she forgets to send them or they forget to log it? You have to create a log of these people with current email addresses that are willing to serve this. This is why I worry a little bit about not always sending out just paper ballots to everybody, plain and simple. Because if you send once and you get a message back that email address isn't any good, if you do that twice, you have to do it, and then you have to send out a paper copy to their last known address. And you have to do that whole process in order to do an online voting with someone, with the restrictions on when we have to send ballots out, when they have to be received. That concerns me, that all of a sudden we can throw ourselves out of that window prescribed by state law. That's
Yeah.
my concern about doing some of that. Yeah, let's save money and tell people they can do that option. There's another level of responsibility that's gonna occur that I don't know. Is that taken up by Sudden Valley, or is that taken up by Unilect? It's a future discussion, but
Yeah.
it's why I worry a little bit about that option of getting people to sign on for receiving all their documents by email. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
No,
It's
that's.
a
Go
can of
ahead, Kurt.
worms.
What'd you say,
Um,
Mike? Sorry.
I
Go
said
ahead,
that
Mike.
would be a can of worms, because naturally it's going to be Sudden Valley's fault that they didn't know my email address had changed. That's just the way things are in this world that we live in.
Yep.
As for this thing that's on the screen here, though, it doesn't ask any of that. It says you will get a paper ballot. Everybody, every lot will get a paper ballot.
Yep.
And in that paper ballot, there will be a link if they choose to go in and vote electronically.
Yep.
That'll be their choice. And at that point in time, I'm sure Unilect is going to ask for some kind of information like address and whatever. That's why we should see what that link contains so we know
Looks
ahead
like
of
you're right,
time.
Michael.
Huh?
You're right, Michael.
And go from there. I've been a long-term, let's get rid of the view and send it out electronically, but I saw what happened when we did the dues limit thing. We collected everybody's email and said we were going to communicate with them, and all those email addresses disappeared somewhere, and half the people didn't get any information. I had people emailing me going, "What's going on?" And I go, "Well, you were supposed to get an email. That's why we got your email address. Well, we're getting nothing. I got nothing." So, yeah.
I know that last year, Joanne, there was an effort, I believe, to try to obtain all of the current contact information, make sure that their data
Yeah.
was correct. Michael, I'm not sure what happened, how successful that was, but
Yeah, that was because not last year, the year before, we got a ballot that the guy didn't sign, and I tried to get, I don't know what it was. We tried to call him at any rate. Somebody had his phone number. We called him, his phone number had changed or something. And we went around, did everything we could. And that's when Joanne says, maybe we should update the homeowner information and really put out a big effort to get correct. They're correct. Are they at this address mailing it? Because some people rent their houses out and
Yeah.
then they get their ballot. I know that my neighbor is in Kirkland and he doesn't get half his mail. And I've talked to him a few times. He goes, I hardly ever get anything. And so I told him, I said, well, did you send them your address? Do they know where you're at? And he goes, well, I'll have to check and make sure. And
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's up to the homeowners.
Yeah, but
Take
they all feel that
responsibility.
Sudden Valley should handle that.
Well,
Yeah.
does Sudden Valley have a process to regularly update
I don't know.
owners'
No.
information? Like
No,
your doctor, I mean, once a year I get a call, or when I visit a doctor or dentist, they say, okay, I need to check, is all
Yep.
this current?
My bank does that when I log in on the
In the
bank.
bank, yeah.
Check your information. And I
Yeah.
just did it today.
Well, maybe
there
We
are,
should have that. We really should, but that's really not part of In and East task.
No, it's not, but
no,
something to bring up with Sudden Valley, I guess.
Yeah.
well, maybe,
You could
they,
spend one person full-time from the start of the year until the end of the year contacting people and trying to find out, is
Yeah.
this, is all this your current information?
Yep.
We can
Yeah.
do an
Full-time job.
ask in the views and have people, but then once again, you have people calling in going, I want to check and see if you have my updated information. I know with Peace Health, they send me my form and go, are there any changes?
Right.
yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask this question then. We all know, we know that option 2 is none of us support that. So we would communicate that. Option 1, everybody gets a paper ballot. Everybody is invited to vote electronically if they so choose. What questions or concerns do you have that I should take from the committee to this discussion tomorrow? And also maybe up to the board meeting if so needed. What questions, concerns do you have for Unilect?
For me, I suppose the biggest would be, and I'm sure it's going to be just as if they somebody voted and then somebody voted a proxy or whatever it was. The first vote is what's counted, and I'm sure that they would have either time stamped on when they receive the mail or a time stamp when they receive an electronic vote, so that say I decided to vote electronically and left the ballot laying here on the desk, and my wife decided to fill it out and send in the ballot, that it would they would have a, it's the same limit. They don't to verify only one vote. First vote counts.
Right.
I would do that.
Michael, I asked them that, I did ask them that question earlier and reiterated that, and they said they have the ability to do it.
Yep.
The first vote counts for
Yep.
that property.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll reiterate that again if that's a concern. I'll double check.
Well, I'm sure the homeowners are going to want to make sure there's only one
Yep.
vote being counted.
Yep. Yep.
You need to know that even with online voting, sometimes people, a duplicate ballot, a duplicate ballot, as someone who has dealt with just all paper for many years, is
Yep.
like, there's times a spouse will find a voting booklet at their house and they'll go, I better go vote that ballot, but the ballot's already been voted by the husband, and you have a husband and a wife each doing, one seeing something, not knowing if it's been voted, want to make sure they're voted, and then they have 2 ballots and you have to accept the one that we've stamped with the earliest date.
Yep.
Right. I'll bring that up. By the way, I love it. I love this committee because we are the what if people. Last year we received a ballot from the 2023 AGM in the ballot box. So what if anything can happen? Other questions or concerns?
I see this being a big educational effort, explaining to the community. I mean, however we go about, either the board makes a decision, let's do hybrid voting, and then there should be some outreach to, this is why I was curious if Unilect has like a prepackaged video presentation
Yeah.
explaining at least online voting, if not the hybrid voting, and even have a community town hall and present and show that video if it's available.
That's a
Yep, you
great
guys
idea.
have got months, you've got every
Yeah.
single month, you
Yeah.
have the views.
Yeah.
And the views, yeah.
And what you're bringing up, Don, actually kind of leads into our next, when we get to new business, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with you. We need I will ask Unilect what they have in terms of training or
Educational materials.
Yep.
And as far as the views go, the presentation of this should be in there several times, not just one issue, but
Yeah.
multiple issues. Because
Yep.
people are gone, they don't read it, or they use it for wrapping fish, but I don't know, do people still do that?
I think they do. E-blasts, yep, social media.
I'm
Talking
sure
to
they'll be all over
people.
Sud Valley Facebook pages, so,
Yeah,
Yep.
and a lot of us aren't on Facebook, so,
yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of venues that it can come out on.
and every one of them, it should be blasted on, yeah.
But we'll get into that when we get to assigned tasks.
Yeah,
Yep, yep. Well, Joe Jean, any questions or concerns I should bring up to Unilect?
I don't have any questions now.
Okay. All right, so let's look, oh, go ahead, Don. See your hands up.
oh, no, I was changing my light, it was bothering me.
Oh. Okay, so, let's formally deal with option 1 and option 2. I would move that we recommend to the board of directors that we would accept a contract proposal for option 1 for from Unilect. Is there a second?
I'll second
Yeah.
that.
Is there any discussion? We've had a lot, but is there any discussion?
I have a question. So what is
Yes.
some of the negative on option 2? Since I haven't really had a chance to go over these yet in detail.
Well, option 2, we'll get there too also, but Don, option 2 is saying that they would mail a paper ballot to 50% of the members.
Oh, that's right.
That's the cost savings there. That's why it was $14,000.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So is there any other discussion? So I'll call the question. All those in favor of recommending to the Sudden Valley Board of Directors Unilect's contract proposal for option 1, or all those in favor?
I
All right, Michael?
Yeah,
Okay, all right, so we're all in favor of that. That passes. We should deal with option 2 formally. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with this because I know ACC's got a good way of dealing with these kinds of things when people aren't in agreement. Let's go ahead and put it up for vote, and we will vote our whether we approve or disapprove. So all those in favor of submitting to the Sudden Valley Board of Directors the Unilect option 2, is there a second? There is no second, the motion dies. So the action going forward would be to talk to Unilect tomorrow, let them know that we are in favor of option 1. We are not in favor of approving as a committee option 2, and taking to them all of our concerns and requests for more information so we can have a good communication plan. That's what I'll do. Then, but with all of that, and I will share with you what the results of that meeting is and what the answers are. Then at the next Sudden Valley Board of the board meeting where this Unilect contract comes up, I'll let them know that we recommended option 1, but not option 2. Okay, now I can take a deep breath. I talk a lot, don't I?
So I have a question, kind of off topic a little bit.
Yeah,
Is there a board meeting tonight?
no.
No, Thursday.
Well, Michael Bennett sent out an email to us in the committee saying, are you aware that, I don't know if he didn't understand this is a Zoom meeting, saying, are you aware there's a board meeting tonight scheduled for the meeting room in the dance?
Interesting. I don't
No,
know.
it's Thursday night.
Well, I know that, but that's why I don't know.
Okay,
That
I
totally
didn't, no,
confused.
so you guys are the only ones that got that email.
Oh, okay,
I didn't.
really?
No, hey, Don, by the way, that means you gotta come to the dance barn on Thursday and hang out with us at the board meeting.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, so I was just thought it was awful confusing for a while there. I thought, what the hell is this about?
all
And
right, so
I already,
let's go ahead and go into our next piece of business. And Linda, we love you. If you want to hang out with us, you certainly can.
The
Uh,
only thing, I'm gonna leave the meeting because I was only here to do any helping or understanding of this whole contract thing. When you're
Mhm.
looking at the future and your jobs that you're gonna have, please remember, and you've maybe already got it on your calendar, a lot of times there's that whole AGM calendar that comes out. And many times the one from staff comes out without N and E in it. And the one with N and E, I always used to try to include the whole thing of what everybody's doing, so we're kind of looking at it. But I
Yeah,
would anticipate they're gonna be looking at one of those calendars again. If you want, I can send you last year's, or don't you need it?
we need it. Thank you, Linda. I think
Just
having last year's, that way we can look at this year's calendar but you're right, we gotta make sure that everybody knows what all of the requirements are and those dates that they gotta come home. Especially in August when things get really, really busy.
tight. The other thing I was gonna tell too, I told Rob already, and then I'm gonna go. We need to know that, we know that November 1st is the AGM, but know that then the 31st of October, which is Halloween, will be the day that voting and everything is closed down.
Right,
Of all the times of the year, right?
that's right.
But anyway, that's all I needed you to know. I'm going to see if I can leave this meeting and let you guys continue. Take care, guys. Bye.
Night,
Thanks,
Linda.
Linda. It's always good to have you with us. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so the next item is roles and responsibilities discussion. And I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Did I expand? Guys, I kind of brainstormed all of the sort of all of the tasks or all of the things that kind of higher level roles that we have. I went ahead and put my name and some of them I think are make good sense. Can you guys all see this
No,
file? No,
it's really tiny
it's really tiny. Uh-oh.
on my screen. I'm trying to figure out how I can expand it.
Let me
Can you take, is it a thing on your desktop, Rob?
let me try it now. Let me close.
Click share screen.
Yeah,
You should be able to click on whatever you have there
yeah,
and share like I did on right there.
yeah, yeah. Let me
Um,
try it. Let me try it
Let me
again.
get out of here. Stop share. Poof. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay, let me. All right. Let's try the desktop. And then,
No.
how about now? Is that better?
Oh, there it is. I
Is
guess.
that better?
No, it's still not readable to me.
See the under date, there's a big A and a little a. Click the big A and it make it larger.
Under, say again, Joe Jean?
Under data, yeah, you see that A right there under data? No, down here on your page. Yeah, that one. Click on that and see what happens.
Oh, let me choose the whole.
Well, it looked, yeah,
Let's try this. Does that help?
There, that helps.
All
Is
right.
that helping quite a bit?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so what I've got here are a number of the tasks. What we're really trying to do, you guys, is try to make things so that there's no confusion. We're not bumping into each other. Communication is smooth. So attending the board meetings and representing our committee, that falls under my responsibility. A single contact and a liaison to the general manager. This idea came up because there was a number of us last year that were contacting the GM, and we didn't always know what was being discussed. So also this comes from our orientation with Rich, our attorney. And he indicated that if there was communication to the general manager, it really needs to go through our board president. So if someone has a question or a concern in something you're working on, but you need the Michael Bennett to contact you, let me know and I'll get right on it. So that really needs to come through me, and then we need to let Keith know that we're contacting him. Otherwise, the general manager might be getting all kinds of requests, and it really needs to come through the board president.
Rob,
Yes,
if you take your cursor,
yes.
put it on the line between A and B and stretch that out, we can see what's back in behind there.
Oh, yeah, it's hidden.
Keep going. There you go. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. So then submitting a request for candidates. So when we get into that time frame where we're asking folks to apply for a position, that's my responsibility. Creating meeting minutes is Michael's. There's been years where we weren't sure whether I was sending meeting minutes or Michael, and I think I was causing some confusion with that. So Michael, this year, would please, when we approve meeting minutes, would you please send them to admin? And at the same time, if you would send the minutes out so that we can review them and then approve them at the next meeting. Just keep doing what you've been doing, buddy. You do it great. Thank you. This kind of falls into what Don was talking about. And this is overarching. It's create communication content for media from the committee. So this could be talking about the voting process to the views. It could be submitting to social media. It could be it's the training materials that we're talking about with the hybrid voting perhaps. But is there anybody that feels like they like to write or they're interested in trying to help with that? We will need help with that.
It's kind of hard to do this without Gail here.
Yep.
I would almost say that why don't we table this and hopefully get Gail here on it at our next meeting, because we got plenty of time.
Yep.
And everybody can kind of look at this and think about it, see what they might want to take on, because it should be I've been on here since 2021, and it's usually a couple years it was just two of us. And so
Yeah.
the two of us
Wow.
did it all. And other years there was 4 or 5 of us, and we all shared in the tasks, and it made the many hands make light the work. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
to
well,
just
let me just,
kind of out of the gate say, hey, what do you want to do here? I think we should all have a little opportunity to mull it
think
over.
about it. Yeah, and I'll send this file to you guys. Let me just, rather than putting names in the responsible, maybe what I'll do is just kind of go over what some of my thoughts were and how I worded these things. Does that sound good? That we can end the meeting.
Yeah.
So leading the candidate forum, being an organization, I think it would be good if we took a really good look at our forums and see if there's a way we could get more participation. Look at the questions that we're asking. This is just me personally. I'll plant this seed. I think it's what I want to be on. What I believe that we should be asking the candidates is what is motivating you to run? What gifts do you think gifts or what skill sets do you think you have that lends yourself to the position? What is it that you're trying to improve? What I would like to learn more from the candidates on their vision and what their skill sets are and whatnot, rather than what do you think about loud barking dogs in the neighborhood? You know, I mean, kind of. I'm just being a facetious example.
Yeah.
And then we need help at those candidate forums. We need timers. We need people from the committee to come in and help. We need someone who's going to moderate and facilitate and ask the questions. And then we're going to need to collect those paper ballots at the Sun Valley ballot box regularly, so that as they start to fill up, that they are taken care of and they're secure. We'll need someone that can move about the AGM and pick up any ballots when the AGM is going. You know, so where the people are asked, do you want to vote from the floor? Yes.
The collecting the ballots from the voting box requires two people. Well, usually in the past it always did.
Yes.
I think we would do it as one committee member and I think a staff person or.
Well, the last 2 years, it was 2 committee members
Okay.
and the GM.
Oh,
Or
the GM.
or a
Okay.
staff person.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. What else do I have here? Represent the committee in the AGM counting room. I think that any chair ought to be there, but I think we should have 2 of us. We always get volunteers too. We ask for volunteers. And then someone needs to represent the committee. And Michael, I may not be wording this correctly. You've typically sat out in the rec area with Catherine when people come and they either want a replacement ballot or there's that whole process where often it's you explaining to them what the voting requirements are, why maybe if we can't either accept or not, if it's
Yeah.
the polls are closed.
I'm just there for questions to answer questions, AGM manual and our bylaws. And I have the bylaws and the AGM manual sitting there. And if we get into, I want to see it in print, which I did get 1 year. And, but it just makes it easier because Catherine doesn't really know all the rules. She knows how they run, Unilect runs the election, but she doesn't know all our bylaws and rules. And so I just kind of sit out there with her so that she doesn't get bombarded. And it's worked out pretty good.
And that's really out of her purview too. I
Yeah.
mean, she's there to provide services. So I'll replace that with different language. That's rather than replacement ballot desk. It's provide.
When they come in to vote in person, to
Yeah.
answer questions when they come in to vote in person.
Yeah, and representing the, I want to go up to line 9, representing the committee when the candidate applications are open. That's when we open the applications, the GM determines whether they're in good standing, and then
Draw
yeah,
the list.
yeah. So that would be really good if the entire committee was there. I'm gonna put all in there if you guys would agree.
Sure.
But that was what my thinking was, and I'm gonna send this out. We can mull it over, and then I would ask the committee to be prepared to, place your names where you think something that interests you that you might be able to help with.
Yep.
Okay. All righty.
One more question, Rob.
Yes,
Our last meeting, there was at least a couple, 3 of us that didn't have current N&E manuals or bylaws even.
yes.
So
I sent
whoever
the
was
report.
sitting in from administration said they were going to make those available, and I never heard anything.
Yeah, I sent a request formally in.
Okay.
What I got was an email with a whole bunch of the file that had our NE manual and some other things in there, and I
It wasn't current.
I didn't think they were current, so I
We're
asked
not.
Michael to help. Okay, all right.
I
Something else.
have everything myself, and if they can't find it, I'll take it down there and let somebody make copies of it. But we should have these. I have the proof of what we do 20 of the 23. We revised the N&E manual in 2023 and it never got voted on. So in 2024, we requested that they actually vote on it. And so we, in 2024, had the revised 2023 edition. And I have all that in print and I think I have it on a zip drive or whatever you call them.
Okay.
Yeah,
And also if what Morgan sent was just
Yeah.
a lazy response to an email, in my opinion. And we got old stuff that wasn't even, it was just, I tried to get back to you and say, Rob, that is not current.
well, that's
Right.
right. I think I missed a call from you,
Yeah,
Michael.
I called, left you a message. None of this is current, so don't, this isn't the right stuff.
Well,
All
when I
right.
was last on the committee, which was 2020, I believe, Larry Brown and I took on a project of making sure we had all current documents, N&E and bylaws, the appropriate bylaws. It was a mess. He and I would meet and go over everything. And what I always, I don't know if it ever happened. You had no indication when you were looking at a manual or a document when it was from. None of the pages
Yeah.
were dated. And I said, it should be required that there should be year
Yeah,
date.
we required that last year too.
Okay.
I don't know if we
'Cause it
got
was
it.
just
This
driving us
is what we
crazy.
used to get. We got one of these. Where's my camera?
Oh, yeah, I've got
Yeah, we
one
got one
from
of these
2020.
every year, and I just didn't change the thing here. I just refreshed the inside.
Okay.
They
But
really should. We should get one of these.
that was
Yep.
always an issue, was
Yep.
what's current.
Yep.
Because we finally, at one point at a meeting, we had like 2 or 3 different versions of documents floating around that we're working off of.
Yeah, and besides that, just getting the new N&E manual, RCWs have changed, and they should be renewed up to date in that manual, so we know what the RCWs are. Bylaws haven't changed, so the bylaws that we have are pretty much the same, except for a couple little notes that we put in there the last couple of years.
Well, guys, here's what I want to do. I'll be seeing Michael tomorrow, and I'll let him know that we're almost into February. Our committee needs up-to-date manuals with the current documentation. I'm gonna let him know Michael's got the current documentation and that our committee is concerned if wherever the repository is of our, so to me, should be a repository of the current
The
documentation
approved N&E manual.
with appropriate revision controls. To me, dates aren't revision control, but that's just me. So I'm gonna let him know that I would like, could he please, within the next week, get our committee new documents that would include the RCWs, our bylaws, and the N&E manual. Anything else I can, in terms of old ballot pamphlets or anything like that, if people are interested in seeing from last year, I can get copies of that too. So I will take that on.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Michael, and Joe Jean, Don, thanks for your patience. Actually, that's funny because we brought this up. I almost brought it up under old business. I thought, well, it hadn't been approved as in the agenda, so I was going to bring it up as for the good of the order. But thanks for bringing it up, you guys. Is there any other concerns? Good, anything for the good of the order?
Not at this
All
point.
right. Well, you guys, I move that we go ahead and adjourn at 7:35.
All right.
Question.
Oh,
So
sure.
is this week's board meeting going to discuss the voting after the meeting with Unilect, or?
I think we will be, yes.
Okay.
It's on the agenda.
Oh,
The
yeah.
only reason why I'm kind of waffling is because I really want to hear from them about training. It's going to be there because we're not going to go anywhere near option 2.
No.
Nobody's going to support that, you know.
But you're meeting with Unilect tomorrow, right?
Yes, we
You
are.
and Michael Bennett?
1:30, yes.
Okay.
Option
And
2
Linda. Linda's joining us too.
burn up the
Okay.
internet, I'll tell you that.
I have a question.
Yes.
I got an email from Michael Bennett that is a Zoom invitation to that 1:30 meeting. Is that what that is? Are we all supposed to go to that on a Zoom?
I think he's being prudent and he's inviting the committee, and I would say anybody that wants to join that is more than welcome to.
Sure, I would be willing to do that. What
Yep.
time is it?
It's at 1:30.
1:30.
It's 1:30 to 2 o'clock.
Send me a link.
I will.
Yeah, I didn't get a link either, but I'm going to be
Yeah.
tied up, so.
I think I'll be available tomorrow.
I got a link on my old email address.
I think everybody thinks it's your old email. I will also let Michael and everybody, let the admin know what your correct email address should be,
Well,
Joe.
It doesn't matter. I still read mail in there, but sometimes it doesn't arrive and stuff. The Gmail account is more secure. And I won't be able to make that meeting, so don't